She want it bad, I might pull up with a bag. Feeling myself till we land, gotta move fast. I might take off with a rag. She asked me if we can be friends, I tell her we passed. I just took off with a meal, baby be breaking the deal. But I know the facts, wanna be patient, bitch I'm amazing. All of the money I make is a blast.
What's up guys? I'm sitting here on the floor of my home workshop. Kuma's here, say hi. Say hi Kuma. He's like, Dad. And so, all right, so today I'm getting some orders packed up and shipped off. Now that I finally got my batch back from the powder coater. And so he was out of town, and so we had to wait, and we were delayed a little bit by the powder coating shop, but we got these orders ready to go, so they'll be shipping out this week. First off, I kind of want to go over the orientation and how everything works and explain some things, because some people apparently think that I copied some type of design or something when I made these. But we'll start off with the J-pipe. As you can see here, the opening is going to be ovaled to match the plenum, and this will work with the OEM plenum, the RR plenum, or our proprietary plenum. As you can see, there is a twist in this pipe, and so it does not sit completely straight like the other intakes on the market. And it's because in doing this, if you're using it with the stock airbox, it creates a weird kind of like cockeyed look to it when it's installed. So if you look at some of the other intakes on the market, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's because a lot of them are just pre-purchased, pre-bent pipes. I cut my pipes, I form my pipes. You guys have all seen the videos. And so not only that, this is actually longer than the current intakes, J-pipe intakes on the market. And so I won't say no names because they always get butthurt when I say their names, but I'm always speaking facts. So, as you can see, mine's got a twist in it. It's 3.5 inches. They claim it's the same diameter, but 3.1 inches and 3.5 inches are not the same. 76 millimeters and 90 millimeters are not the same. And so this is our proprietary J-pipe. Screamer is the only one that rocks this. Can't get it anywhere else. It is cut to length and made specifically for these cars. Now we have our plenum. Pretty simple, basic 3.5 inch aluminum tube that we press and push out to about 4.5 inches from end to end. It's roughly about as wide as the stock plenum, but as you can see, you're not going to stick your whole arm inside the stock plenum or the Range Rover plenum. And so we have a straight through oval design. And this baby right here, when compared to the stock plenum, picks up 20 horsepower in the mid-range and 12 horsepower, carries it all the way to redline. If you look at the dyno graph that we have online, you can see it literally increases power significantly from like 900 RPMs all the way to the red line. And so the whole power band gets improved. Now, along with that, this is also proprietary. We have our own aluminum mass airflow housings. Funny story about this. Sometimes when I package these, I send them already attached to the filter and everything ready to go. One of our guys got one of these, and I had put the orientation of the filter on improperly, and him assuming that, you know, I know what I'm doing, just went ahead and installed it, and his car kept shutting off on him. Well, it's because it needed to be flipped, and the orientation of your mass airflow sensor makes a big difference. So when you are looking at this, installing it in the car, this little bump right here should be facing you. So if you're the car and I'm installing, this little bump should be pointed, well, I mean, it's going to be this way, but it should be pointed towards you, and not towards the inside of the car. It should be this way, because the orientation really does make a difference. There is 2 different sides to the sensor, and so there's that. These are 76 millimeter. The stock ECU does not like when you put a bigger MAF tube on there without calibrating and adjusting and scaling your MAF first. So this is our answer to that. We do have an 83 millimeter one that I've tested personally, and like it still needs tuning. It'll work, it runs, it does well, but eventually you start getting check engine lights and all that stuff, and that's not fun. So until we can work out a way to adjust our MAF scaling, we have 76 millimeter. In the near future, because we are working on tuning solutions, in the near future, I will have 90 millimeter MAF tubes available, a full 3.5 inch. And so that's that. Now, this piece here, just a 90 millimeter or 3.5 inch diameter silicone 90-degree elbow. This plays a big part in why our plenum makes so much horsepower. 20 in the mid-range and 12 at peak RPM is pretty good for an intake. And it's because the factory plenums don't have this big opening going to the throttle body. The back, if you look at your plenum, the back side of the plenum pancakes out. And so it basically, when coming along, if you look at it, you have like this here, and then it gets flat and angles down, and it has a hard 90-degree angle into the throttle body. And so our way around that is to go full 3.5 inches to the throttle body. And so then you have a full, nice wide opening. There's no restrictions, there's no bottleneck. You're not going to be funneling the air down into like this little opening. It's wide open and ready to go all the way through, free flowing. And so, other than that, we just got the other couplers. Kit comes with a 3.5 inch to 3 inch reducer, and that way we can mate our MAF tube to our air filter to our intake tube. And so I'm gonna throw this together real quick and show you guys what it looks like. So when you are putting the elbow on the plenum, depending on what size boxes I have at the time, you might get this already assembled and sent to you. If I have smaller boxes available, then it'll be separate. But previously, we used to advise to put the plenum all the way to the back for fitment reasons. But we've addressed those fitment reasons, and now it's the farther you push this back, the more it's going to tilt up, and then you take a risk at hitting the hood. And so basically, you just want this to kind of like, you know, fit barely in there, maybe an inch or two inside before you put your hose clamps on. And then after this is our center coupler, which is just a 3.5 inch straight coupler. And then on goes the plenum, or the J-pipe. Sorry, plenum's already on. J-pipe and plenum are designed to mate up. Now, when you put this on, you're gonna want to angle this down a little bit. And so make sure you have some slack here, because you want this to turn down. Previously, we've had problems with people put it in like this, and they made it up, and then this piece here, you get rubbage on the hood. And so you want this to angle down, kind of like the factory plenum and piping does. And so once you have those together, then we can put on our reducer and put this our MAF sensor housing, and then our filter. Now the filter and the 3 inch side of the MAF sensor housing do fit on pretty tight when you put them on. Now, this here, we're gonna angle down just a tiny bit. And this is how this should sit and be all put together. It's a big ass intake. And then every kit comes with 12 inches of 10 millimeter silicone hose. You can cut it as you need it. Okay. See, fully assembled. This is our screamer. This specific one, he went for all black. Black couplers, black powder coating, even black on the filter trim. And so you can order these on our website for $2.99 shipped. And once again, the old version 1 screamer, which this is new. This is version 3 specific, and this is version 3 specific. But the old version 2 screamers, they had a big silicone piece here, and they did not have the custom J pipe made specifically for the car. And so we picked up 20 wheel horsepower in the mid-range and carried 12 wheel horsepower to red line, actually smack dead into the rev limiter. It made power from 0 to 6,400 or 6,100, I believe, is where we hit the rev limiter. And so yeah, they definitely make power, but the old numbers were based on this and a 3-inch J pipe, which now we have a 3.5-inch J pipe, MAF housing, open element filter. I don't want to hear anything from anybody about heat soak. Heat soak doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen here. Heat soak has a lot more to do with intercooler coolant tub than it does IET1. And so, however, this will lower your IET1. We've got plenty of videos and data and everything proving it. No other intake on the market dissipates heat like this thing, especially when they're coated like this. This black wrinkle coating that we have, mine specifically, it dropped the overall temperature by I think 10 to 12 degrees in my IET1, like constant. It's always down 10 to 12 degrees what it used to be without this coating. And so granted, it's not a huge change, and as long as you stay under 120 degrees Fahrenheit for your IET1, it's not going to trigger the horsepower nannies and start pulling timing and boost and all the other fun stuff. And so this will definitely help with that. We have had customers report back to us with data logs showing that the ECU was allowing an extra 1.7 to I think almost 3 pounds of boost at wide open throttle. And then they were also seeing higher timing advance, which means that the OEM equipment obviously gets hot enough to the point where it affects the IET1 and it starts to pull timing and everything like that. Whereas we have actually seen in multiple logs, even with the bare metal, it doesn't hold on to heat, and we never really get above 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit IET1 when it's similar ambient temperatures outside. With I want to believe this last testing session we did, I was out in 90 to 101 degree ambient temperatures, and this was still seeing 102, 103, and so it sits right about ambient. So whatever ambient is outside, this is going to be about 0 to 3 degrees higher than that, which is absolutely amazing. Even in hot 120 degree Texas heat, these intakes uncoated bring the IATs down. And so something for you guys to cook on. This thing's beautiful, man. All right, I'm gonna get this boxed up and shipped out.